Tales from the Block, Episode 3. Moving at Pace. Amsterdam had been loud, predictably chaotic, but more than anything, it had been a much-needed break. Joe Edwards sat back in a bar just off one of the quieter canals, the orange glow of early evening reflecting off his half-empty pint, one of many consumed today. Laughter echoed around him. He was away celebrating Danny Mayer's stag do with a small group of ex-teammates. After 7 years at Plymouth Argyle, they were all enjoying reminiscing events over that time. It was seemingly a quiet affair, but as they say, what goes on tour. Suddenly, the relaxed evening was disturbed. Joe's phone started going crazy. "Muslik to Schalke," read one message, then another. "This news true, Skipper? Surely not." The messages came in thick and fast. Joe switching his phone to silent, feeling a little embarrassed as everyone turned to look at him and ask what's going on. There it was all over social media too. Joe looking unfazed and just shook his head. He wasn't surprised. At the time, people were posting and assuming it must all be rumors. But Joe knew. A beat passed, then two. Joe took a breath, thumbed open WhatsApp and typed a reply into the Janners for Life group chat.
"Leave it with me. I'll try and find out exactly what's gone on."
Just when Joe was about to tell the lads, he was stopped mid-sentence. A message from Andrew Parkinson, the club's CEO, grabbing his attention.
"Joe, I'm letting you know that we have reluctantly let Miron talk to Schalke. He wants to leave. I will tell you more when you are back in Plymouth. He wants to go either way. We will announce it later tonight. Try and enjoy the rest of the stag and send my regards."
He fired a quick message back saying,
"Why am I not surprised? Thanks for letting me know, Chief. Catch up soon."
Focusing his attention back to the table. All eyes on him, wondering what's going on as more phones started to buzz.
"Myron's looking at a move to Schalke, and the club have reluctantly let him talk to them,"
Joe said in a somber voice.
"and he's just confirmed. He wants to go and won't be coming back either way."
Shrugging his shoulders while taking a gulp from his pint of cider, muttering under his breath. Unbelievable. As his attention went back to his phone, the notifications didn't stop. Looking straight back up, he tells the boys,
"Look, keep it to yourselves for now. They will release a statement later today."
Danny Mayer responded first.
"Well, you're not surprised, are you? You were just saying earlier that you couldn't trust him yourself."
Jimmy Dickinson promptly following Danny in an abrupt tone.
Wow, he's the reason I've had to move on.
Jimmy was head of recruitment. He's serving out the final week of his gardening leave. Deep down, he's gutted to be leaving. He's fallen in love with Plymouth, the club and the fans. Joe said,
"Let me just send a couple more messages and I'll be right back."
The rest of the stag carried on, they too distracted by their phones as notifications and messages came pouring in. Joe returned to the table, slipping his phone into his pocket and simply saying,
"Right, lads, put the phones away. This is Danny's weekend after all."
They all raised the pints and said absolutely. They then carried on the night. It was going to be another long one. Back in Blighty a couple days later and the start of a new week. The rain felt all too familiar, as did the sense of déjà vu. Reflecting, Joe said to himself,
"Manager number 7, crazy."
As he glared at the road ahead back to Plymouth. Joe has been at Plymouth Argyle for 7 seasons, having recently agreed a year's extension to his contract. Joe, now in his early 30s, has ambitions to become a coach at the end of his playing career. He has been thrown into the deep end already when Wayne Rooney failed to deliver and was sent packing just after Christmas. Joe, alongside Kevin Nacekeville, stepped in to steady the ship for a short spell. It gave Joe the taste that he craved, even if just for a short period. It's one thing being club captain, it's another co-managing the team. The one big result that always brings a smile to his face during that time was the win away to Brentford in the FA Cup. It led to the tie at home to Liverpool in the following round. He never felt prouder in that moment as a smile came to his face. Joe had a 2-hour drive from Bristol Airport back to Plymouth. After reminiscing briefly, he turned to the car's touchscreen display. Pressing the call button, a list of names displayed. Right at the top, even before his wife, Kevin Nacekeville, he pressed his name. As the car dialed out, a grin appeared on Joe's face.
Joey?
Nance answered excitedly, before then adjusting his tone.
Now before you start, don't even go there. I know what you're going to say.
Chuckling to himself, Joe laughed in response.
Thought you might have got the call already. You are going for it properly this time, right?
What, and give up the quiet life? Nah, mate. I like my heart rate below 120 beats per minute. Remember, I'm getting on now, just like you. Ha.
I know. Just thought I'd double-check just to be sure before I apply.
Anyway, I'm still in Corfu with the missus. We return Friday. Let's catch up next week. See you, Joe.
They both laughed loud together. Later that evening, Joe dialed another number.
Andrew, it's Joe.
Joe, good to hear from you. How was the stag do?
All good, Andrew. All good. I won't keep you. Just wanted to say, I'm glad he's gone.
There was a pause on the line.
Look, I know that's blunt, but he fooled a lot of people, said all the right things.
Andrew Parkinson replied carefully.
I appreciate your honesty, Joe. We want to move forward. And fast. We'll speak to everyone we need to. Do I need to add you to the list, Joe?
I'm not here to throw my name into the hat.
Joe laughed.
Just letting you know, if you need a sounding board, I'm around when needed.
We appreciate that, Joe. We really do.
And if anyone needs to hear it, the lads are behind this club. They're rattled, but they'll settle. I'll make sure of it.
That week, Joe spent an evening helping out at Harper's Park, running drills with a group of local kids. He told his wife upon returning home, smiling over dinner,
Best part of the week that, honestly, no pressure, just football. Reminded me why I started.
She smiled back at him. The Saturday just gone, as Miron was confirmed as Schalke's manager, the club's chairman, Simon Hallett, released a statement. Simon had been absent since the final game of the season, with fans wondering why they had heard nothing after what was a disastrous season ending in relegation. They wanted answers, and rightly so. Resurfacing with Muslik's departure confirmed, Simon's statement was calm, honest, and reassuring to the fans. He and Jane, his wife, had been dealing with some personal issues as he apologized for being absent for so long while they were dealing with the situation. With steel beneath the words, while staying as professional as he could. He gave an honest account of the situation that Muslik's left the club with no option but to let him talk to Schalke. Touching further on the manager situation, Simon said,
We've done everything possible to provide Miron with the structure and tools needed to succeed.
Further adding that the exit and the way it happened shocked him. He went on to say,
I'm confident in the team we have in place to lead this process.
reassuring fans that this won't hold us back for long, sharing further updates and admitting that the long-awaited investment wasn't forthcoming and it's back to the drawing board. Simon thanked the supporters, promised clarity, and vowed that Argyle would find the right leader. Even with the shock of Muslik leaving so suddenly, there had been some positive news. Free signing number 3, and for an undisclosed fee, signing number 4, Jack McKenzie and Bradley Ibrahim, coming through the gates of Home Park. Following Jamie Patterson and Caleb Watts previous, Argyle were clearly well and truly progressing fast. More importantly, news that Ryan Hardy and the club were discussing new terms to his existing contract that has a year left. Maybe Ryan isn't one for the only way is Wrexham, then after all, at least that the fans hope that is the case. At Home Park, the office lights burning late into the evenings. Video calls, scheduling, calendars bridging Plymouth and the United States. Interviews ongoing, happening at pace. More names banded around the rumour mill. Ian Evatt, Tom Cleverley, Jim Goodwin, David Wagner, and even Jack Wiltshire. A surprise candidate and gaining traction with the bookies, leading the odds. There was still clearly plenty to do. David Fox managing his time with Andrew Parkinson with the interviews, While liaising with Tom Randall on player transfers, there were going to be some long days ahead at home park for the new head of football operations, not forgetting the soccer tournament happening in the US to keep an eye on. After a busy end to the week, David sat back in his chair, wry smile on his face, and a sense of achievement. He sent a message to Simon.
I think we might have found our man. Speak tomorrow.
This has been episode 3 of Tales from the Block.
A quick note about our scenes. Elements of this episode have been fictionalized and dramatized for storytelling. Other elements are used to reference current events. The Block 9 brings you this weekly episode in the series. Written and produced by Mike, the Crazy Pilgrim, with the help of AI. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and you can find out more about the Block 9 on all social channels and theblock9.co.uk. Thank you for listening.